How's it going, everybody? Happy hour number 91 for December 20th, 2024. JT here on behalf of the Ethfinance community, not only from Ethfinance, but also our Ethereum on Reddit. And big thanks to the EVMavericks yet again for hosting another happy hour for this day. Give us a thumbs up, smash a bell if you haven't already. The episode I've titled is M.E.R.G.E, Make Ethereum Reddit Genuinely Excellent. So it's been a soft fork in the making already. We've had quite a few people that have preemptively jumped over into the new daily, and it looks like we're about to cross 100 comments in the very first Ethfinance worded daily on our Ethereum. So it's pretty cool to see the amount of support and feedback that we have gotten from everybody in the community about supporting this initiative. Basically, it just boils down to Reddit as a whole, not just on crypto, but as a whole. It seems like it's kind of lost its way or favor. And then for Ethereum Reddit in particular, I just felt like, along with some other moderators, you know, after Evan Van Nessa reached out to us and gave us a door to jump in, and we found a group of mods that were ready to take the charge on this initiative, and it's been really it's been a lot of work. I'll just say that behind the scenes, getting into the Telegram channel with the existing moderators that were active and trying to work with some of the ones that were inactive and who wanted to be active again. And it's been a journey, and it's been good. It's taken a lot of time, but we came to an agreement and a consensus on it's probably better to merge the communities together, primarily because I definitely don't want to be trying to be a moderator in two different places. That's just untenable. And really, I think the main Ethereum subreddit stands to gain a lot from having the Ethfinance crew come over. And now that they've got a daily thread and we've been able to kind of reinvent that a little bit over there, it's been wonderful. And I can't say enough thanks to the existing our Ethereum mods and the rest of the Ethfinance mods for really leveraging their talents and time and commitment to making this a successful thing. All right. The rest of the intro. The Weekly Doots live stream is all about showcasing the best of the week from the Ethfinance community on Reddit. This is a read-along reaction series, and if you want to follow along, head on over to dailydoots.com, designed and produced by our very own Hani Abu. Big thanks to Tricky Troll for capturing and curating each of the day's doots. And
You're muted. Your mic is muted.
Oh my gosh. My mic was muted, but it wasn't muted on YouTube. That's cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So it's unmuted on Discord. So thanks for the heads up. But that's good. We're good. The live stream was not muted. So that's fantastic. Big thanks to Tricky Troll for capturing and curating each doots, and the A word for curating this beloved weekly list. Subscribe to us on Apple and iTunes. Just search Ethfinance EVMavericks. You got to search that entire term to get us to pop up. We're also available on Libsyn, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, and you can see that in the description below on YouTube. Mint this episode after we're done with the show at pods.media/EVMavericks. If you're watching my stream on YouTube on the second window here, make sure to mute that window to avoid any echoes. And as always, if you know somebody who wants a piece of this action, send them my way. All right, let's jump right on in. Let's hit this rich list right off the bat. At number 10, Hani Abu at 99. No, I got to refresh this because I think he crossed. Yeah, he did cross over. He's at 101. He broke through the century mark. Set one less at 104. Ethical Trade at 108. Tied with Crypto Wow Currency at 108. 696 ETH at 111. Tricky Troll at 134. Harog at 139. Benito 2030 at 156. Climbing up close to Logri the Bard at 158. And the almighty everlasting man himself, Super Fizz at 218. We got a slew of guests to talk about. We already talked to Megan Nab last week at Franklin Payroll. She was a delight. If you didn't get a chance to watch that episode, definitely watch that episode. I know it sounds like kind of a boring topic with payroll, but she really gets into the weeds of like the existing technologies that are out there. She was just a real treat to have on the podcast. January 3rd, Brian Smokovich from Pistachio Fi. That's going to be an amazing episode for two reasons. Pistachio Finance is a really cool project that he's been building, but he's also a fellow moderator on our Ethereum. And his project is rather new, but B Smokes, you might know him as B Smokes, or if you look at he's Darkest Timeline Jeff on the sidebar. Just a wonderful, wonderful person. And he's got a hell of a product, and we're going to be talking to him on January 3rd. January 17th, Kate Lawrence from Blockcelerate. Blockcelerate was brought to us by way of Logri the Bard, and they're a VC funding. The Blockcelerate VC is a venture funding backing bold entrepreneurs building category-defining companies using the power of blockchain. Oh, that sounds so cool. Okay, and then I just got word January 24th. I've got to firm up a couple of details here with DeFi Dad. DeFi Dad is a long-time OG contributor back on ETH Trader. He has blossomed out, as many of you know, on X, and he has his own podcast, All Things DeFi, and I can't wait to pick his brain. Justin Drake on the Beam chain. You might have heard of him before. Excited to get Justin on. Originally, we were going to have him on one of these earlier dates, but his calendar filled up. He'll be with us January 31st. And I have an informal yes to an invite from Anthony Sassano from the Daily Gwei. We're trying to pin him down on January 10th and bring Anthony back to the Reddit Club for one episode. It'd be nice to see his face again, talk to him. I talked to him last time in real life at ETH Denver, and he got to come over to he got invited to come over to Kevin Iwaki's castle with Gitcoin, and he had a chance to try my barbecue. It's pretty cool, man, to have that Australian guy come through and meet him finally in real life, and then to share a bite. It was really neat. Okay, so that's like the most guests I think we've ever had in a row. So there's your announcements for today. Let's get right into this week's morning roundup. We have Johnny Dap chimes in Ethereum, JazzKid05 at 33.33, Frank the Tank at 0.0346. Blech! Come on, get that ratio under control. And then uses Bink video, says 93,000 hodlers subscribed plus 4. You know what? He was doing this on the daily too. Let me find it. It's kind of funny on our Ethereum because there's so many spam accounts, but look at this number. It says 3,492,683 Ethereum subscribed plus 2,697 since yesterday. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. Speaking of spam, yeah, it's kind of a whole new world over there. So I got to thinking about this list here. I'm gonna go off the rails for a second because I came up with an idea. There's a lot of people that are getting caught in auto mod because we have to keep that spam filter so high that it's blacking out words. I won't say what they are, but some of it is just very innocent. And I got to thinking, and this will be a long play with the existing moderator crew. For now, I just want to get the merge underway and let everything settle for a while, because I think sometimes I run a little crazy in the back channels. But anyway, I was looking at this list, and it's like, we could put this daily Doots count to work here. You know, if you've got people that have at least 20 Doots, let's see where that number is. It's like top 100. Okay, starting at 85. Let's say you get somebody that's at the mark of 20. Why not just make them approved contributors or approved posters? You could do that. You can whitelist certain accounts. It doesn't change, like, it doesn't matter if your karma is too low, but obviously these people don't have low karma, low account age. they've been properly dooted 20 plus times. Maybe we could work on curating a list of everybody that has, let's say, over 20 doots. And so we know that those people will never get caught in auto mod, which is really helpful for getting, it's kind of like being first to share news or whatever. Everything has a time span to it or lifespan to it. It's better if it's just visible. But anyway, I digress. Okay. And the weekly haiku, courtesy of JS Tears. You better watch out. Another cycle will sprout. You better not pout. Oh my gosh, how does he do it? JS Tears. I think I even said that to him on Reddit. Let me open this up. Yeah, how does he do it? Love that. That's funny. Great job. And of course, Clam Chota says, ETH, take my energy. It is Chota time. Our ship post of the week. Woo, ethical trade getting a ship post of the week. A Duder 108. Ethereum rapidly losing its lead to Solana in stablecoin market cap. Looks like the world is coming to the realization that Solana is a reliable platform after all. Just kidding. Ethereum stablecoin market cap is now 23 times bigger. Isn't it interesting how the gap doesn't close on all relevant metrics that cannot be faked? Very cool. According to DeFi Llama, there you go. Ethereum dominance in total stable coins at 53%. Nice job, Ethical Trade, for your ship post of the week. All right, we're going to slam through these for this day. Don't read any of these ahead of time, so here we go. User Accidental Green has been building a GUI for installing, managing, and updating home validators. Ooh, that's cool. So I made a note on Reddit Enhancement Suite, Client Diversity Tool Guide, this Accidental Green character. Very cool. I've been working on an open source validator desktop app to simplify running Ethereum validators. This all-in-one program provides a clean GUI for installing, updating, and managing validators. No terminal commands needed. Perfect for non-technical users who want to stake from home. Here's the link to the ETH Staker post with the detailed information. Any testing or feedback are always appreciated. Happy staking. Very good. And then here is the post on ETH Staker. Looks like key features, simple installation and management. It does install, update, import key stores, and delete clients with ease. Dashboard control, start and stop all processes with a single click. A clean log viewer, and based on Summer eSats guides, works for both new and existing installations, and there is a link to the GitHub in that post. Go check it out. All right. Okay, yeah, so looks like A-Word added me to the Weekly Doots. Pack your bags. We're headed west. We got a 96% approval rating on the vote. That's good. That's all we got to say about it. I said my piece about it, and it's awesome. Hats off to this community as always. User Hani Abu, freaking legend, shares an interesting rumor they heard. And in contrast to the opportunity there, Iter ad Astra identifies a threat. Hani Abu is up on the rich list at 101. Iter ad Astra is a Duder number 62, according to this week. Hani Abu. Last week, I went to a crypto event. There I met a prominent crypto lawyer, will leave unnamed, who is recruited by Trump Elon to be a lead in Doge. I think the title was something like strategic director. He declined because we didn't want to become the fall guy they blame everything on if anything went wrong. But what he thought was interesting was this must mean they're planning on putting government processes or records on chain. The question is, which chain? We know Elon likes BTC, so will it be a basic data put on chain? He's also smart, and Trump has used Ethereum before, so will Ethereum be used? We know they're not the straightest edge, so maybe they'll take a backdoor deal and use Solana. We also know he loves Doge, and Doge is adding smart contracts, so Maybe he'll use that. Iteradastra replies, this is where the greatest advantage of Ethereum not having a controlling marketing entity might prove a huge disadvantage. And it's a big fear of mine. I can easily see Solana buying its way into government with a few billion, while I could never see the EF doing that. I'm not sure they could, even if they wanted to. Setting up a neutral selection committee in order to choose the best blockchain would be ideal, but good luck with that. That's a very spicy post. Thanks for putting that on the weekly, A-word. Moving on down, doubly robustly double. God, what is this username? Doubly robustly double discusses Vitalik's latest post on deep funding. Duder number 3. Wow, relative newcomer making it to the weekly. Vitalik goes on. Vitalik with another fascinating post, this time on deep funding on Warpcast. Ever since the DAO, many have felt like one of Ethereum's killer apps will be to entirely replace, air quotes, the corporation with decentralized organizations of some form. Just some scattered musings on that idea below. You're much better off spending your time reading Vitalik's post. But hey, I felt like writing this out. He goes on. Cap tables like these drive the main distribution of dollars in modern companies. So cap tables, okay. All right. The gap between the actual distribution of dollars and the perceived fair or correct distribution of dollars according to effort and value is very large. While admittedly a hard problem, any significant closing of that gap would be one of those society-altering level of impacts. The kind of thing that I think gets people so excited when they first descend the rabbit hole on Ethereum in the first place. I feel like the DAO was sort of the right idea, build a plane, but without any of the tools you needed to build the airplane. Before you can fly, you have to discover some wing aerodynamics. You have to get like engines and propulsions figured out. Maybe light, but strong materials, etc. I don't know how planes work. I think more and more we're building out some of these primitives that will need to fly the plane. DeFi was necessary just to be able to trade tokens, loan, create liquidity, and all that financial lubrication you need to do transactions. I don't know if they're part of this plane or some other thing, but I think NFTs represent some ability to value in more symbolic or representative ways. To me, a big driver is L2s bringing down costs while maintaining credible enough decentralization principles and roadmap well enough not to detract from the vision. That also comes down to our L1 staking community and our ethos of decentralization, which members of this sub contribute to every day. So big effing salute to y'all. And just a lot of fundamental smart contract and regular old web coding nitty-gritty that's been done over the years. Some failed ideas out there too in the world of experimentation. I think token launchers on Farcaster are starting to put some more of these pieces in place with sort of stupid, easy to use, but very simple forms of value, allocation, and distribution. Essentially very basic fair launch stuff. Put a bunch of tokens out there, people buy them up, and voila, which honestly has been effective enough to bring some of the largest crypto projects to where they are today. This deep funding looks much more sophisticated and frankly cool version of that. I think all these pieces getting built are adding to the viability of some of these more complex but superior collaboration structures. Advancements in tools equals necessary precursor for discovery. Nobody was discovering bacteria till the microscope came around. Maybe some of these toy-like primitives are creating the tools and building blocks necessary for finally surpassing many existing organizational structures. Regardless, I'm sure there's much smarter people than I working on this type of thing are going to do cool stuff. If you want a bull case for Ethereum short-term and long-term, it's that the builders making stuff on Ethereum are the most creative, badass group of people I've ever seen. I'm more than happy to shed the Austrian economics crowd and grifter casino lock myself in a cage or threaten violence to animals or people for money crowd. Y'all know who I'm talking about. And back the ethos of Ethereum. Forget me with any price whining or nonsense. This is the number one best asset in the entire world. Hands down. It's not even close. And right now, it's valued less than a MasterCard. Wow. Dang, boy. Doubly, robustly double with a banger on Ethereum. This is really, it's kind of a pothead pipe dream, but I get it. I like the idea of comparing it to a plane. Also kind of puts a visualization in check. The NFT part of the plane would be like maybe the tail number on it, or some of the signings of what engineers have to approve or to get things into production. I know my sister, she was in charge of like every fourth Mustang jet in terms of signing off on the testing of each of the electronic components. Like, that's a pretty big deal. So, yeah. That's really neat. Good job. Nice writing. Keep doing it. All right, here we go. Free will has an important thing to know for Kraken users. A warning for Kraken users, Free will says. Free will is a duder number 6, also a relative newcomer to the weekly. A warning for Kraken users. I just did a test transaction from my Trezor to Kraken. I sent 1,000th of an ETH. A block explorer showed that the transaction went through almost instantly. But after over 100 confirmations, still nothing showed up in Kraken. I checked the Kraken deposit terms, and they don't credit your account for any deposits under 5,000ths of an ETH. I wonder how much they've made from this policy. If you're doing a test transaction before depositing to Kraken, make sure it's over their minimum required or you lose the funds. What? Okay. Do you know? Okay, I'm going to expound on this. Like when you're wanting to do certain interactions with your bank, sometimes the company will dust your bank account with like a 1-cent transaction and like a 5-cent transaction. So why couldn't it be done? I don't know why that couldn't be done in the same kind of way, you know? Like Kraken ought to be able to let people deposit 1/10,000 or 1,000th or even 1/10,000th of an ETH and at least let it show up so the person knows that like everything's connected okay. And obviously, if anybody wants to chime in on this, you can unmute your mic or tag me in a public voice chat. So, all right. Yeah, interesting. That's a good observation. Don't send less than 5,000ths of an ETH to Kraken or it won't meet the minimum requirements for a deposit. Interesting. All right. Bram ETH starts the BTC 67 effort. What is this? I've never heard of this. Also a duder number 6. Bram ETH writes, I just pressed the button. We're starting the collaborative BTC 67 effort. In the next 2 to 3 days, we're going to casually use hundreds of machines scattered around the globe to check for 230 trillion private keys in the most efficient way possible. The scale is unfathomable, and I find that mesmerizing. 12 people have chipped in for now for a committed amount of 172,000 plus US dollars, which is also super cool. This is only the beginning, though. The first slice of 256, which will hopefully lead to the discovery of the private key holding 6.7 BTC. If you're interested in following this effort unfold live or contribute to the funding effort to get a part of the reward, shoot me a DM to get a Discord invite. There's a lot more info there. Well, that's stinking cool. A BTC 67 effort. Okay. So I'm going to change his duder score and reflect BTC 67. And that's great. So then if I need to find him, there we go. I made a note. Also, you can see how the sausage is made on the Reddit side of things. So other moderators can see this as well. And when we migrate over to our Ethereum, all of the cross-pollinated mods from Ethfinance will be able to see that as well. Good. Fantastic. Nice job. Moving on down the list, as they say. Next level fantasy. Next level fantasy. Duder number 7. Wow, this is really cool. A-Word is putting a lot of people under 10 on this week's podcast. Fantastic. I love it. User Next Level Fantasy covers a Green Pill podcast episode with Vitalik, and user Doubly Robustly Double comments on a quote which jumped out to them. Look at that. Making it twice on the weekly call. Doubly Robustly Double. Adding to yesterday's doot from Doubly Robustly Double, a 2-part Green Pill podcast recently dropped with Vitalik, and there's a link to both of these at dailydoots.com. I used to do editing for a Green Pill podcast, so it's definitely going to be good with Kevin Owocki hosting that. Awesome stuff. One thing that jumped out to me, Doubly says, paraphrasing Vitalik, when I wrote my post on this, my dream list on what should go in a wallet, there's something like 20 teams that replied with, hey, we're doing this piece of it already. There's definitely a tragic aspect to this, that there's all this work being done, but it's not getting through the information network to the rest of the ecosystem. I think having a strategy for that is important. It might seem wasteful to spend 20% of the time on distribution, but on the other hand, having a great thing with distribution go 2x slower than it otherwise would is also wasteful. So it's a good thing to be on the ball about. Doubly Robustly Double responds to this thought from Vitalik. Number 1, this is something I've always felt tokens should be relatively good at. You are a new project. You have a token. If you're relatively unknown but have a good project, the hope is that savvy investors looking for the next 100x see that and invest in accordingly. Now, in some ways, I think the meta bull bear market game correlation obfuscates a lot of this as projects and ecosystems rise and fall together. It doesn't particularly matter if you invest in great projects if the bear is on and the floor is falling out. Similarly, we saw a lot of essentially trash rise with the rising tide during the bull. Similarly, teams with scammy mechanisms seemed to survive, aka if you can grift your investors, take their money and do cycles of pump and dump, then you can end up with more market share than honest teams with good products. Here, well said. I think we see a lot of this, frankly, in the meme coin space where the shiny percent gains exist to draw people in to a long-term pure extraction game. And then there's the hard part of once or a set of savvy early investors discover a project and pump up the market cap a bit. Is your alignment off now because X% of the rewards for the project go to investors who haven't done much except add some dollars or ETH? Now, I think that design of tokenomics in a way where creators get rewarded, speculators get rewarded, or at least some, and some rewards are held for the future is likely the vague solution here. Number 2, in light of some inefficiencies above, how does our Ethfinance, or soon to be our Ethereum, provide a sort of funnel that leads people down good paths towards the best and brightest parts of the Ethereum ecosystem? Vitalik has always done a good job of this. Look at this initial post, which links to a tweet, which takes you down the green pill rabbit hole, which takes you to a huge number of different ideas and individuals who are linked to projects, etc. I think one of the main benefits of this sub is that so many people here have excellent filters. Experience can help here. Oftentimes, you have to step in a little muck to realize what stinks. But we have excellent filters for which projects and rabbit holes are worthwhile and which ones aren't. I feel like a lot of this info is crystallized through posts over the years. Doots is an excellent example. I also wonder if there's other ways in which this sub can utilize its place as somewhat of an entry funnel for new people and set them on to the best rabbit holes to explore. Or frankly, for those of us who are old hat but still struggle to keep up with the greatest and is now too huge to realistically follow the industry. Here, I'm gonna get back on my soapbox for a second. This was talked about within the moderator community and external wider team, is that if the Ethfinance people don't get our asses over to our Ethereum and start making what's good about us good over there, it's going to be really hard to attract and maintain and keep newcomers. They won't find us. They're not finding us. But we can be such a critical mass of people that can congeal and maintain the attention of soon-to-be future teachers that get on board with how we communicate and want to be heard. It's just, we just have a really good opportunity to do some great stuff again on Reddit. We just have to get the brightest stars on the front page of the main sub, and that's you guys and lady. Okay, so well said, very well said. All right, user Aiden Cairo shares the daily DevCon ETH++, a roadmap to real decentralization in a world of centralized power, and user Harog, freaking legend, and Oyuro Kimono share their thoughts. This is cool. Let's see. That's Aiden Cairo. Yes, I think I had to approve this. No, Off My Porch approved this. He got caught up in auto mod. So Harog is a 139. Oyuro Kimono is a Duder 17, and the original poster Aiden Cairo is a Duder number 12. Okay, so there's a lot of summaries and discussion about December 15th. The talk delves into various concepts related to the Ethereum blockchain technologies discussed at the Ethereum Developer Conference. The speaker explores potential scenarios where Ethereum system could face challenges and discusses the importance of global power distribution in the network, emphasizing pillars such as permissionless, distributed, geoeconomic decentralization, and neutral builder efficiency. The speaker highlights the need to push power to the network's edges to achieve true decentralization. The talk also touches on topics such as programmable cryptography, the risks of centralization in staking, and the promotion of technologies like TEEs, T-E-E. That I know what this acronym is. What is T again? If anybody could ping me in chat or unmute, that'd be great. It's TEE. I looked this up and I forgot it already. Goldfish, Dory brain. Okay. The discussion questions: how can Ethereum, I was thinking of it, technical efficiency, something like that. How can Ethereum improve its global power? Thank you. Trusted execution environment. Thank you, Bermansky. See. All right. Trusted execution environment, TEE. How can Ethereum improve its global power distribution within the network to enhance decentralization and prevent centralization issues, especially in the context of staking? In what ways can programmable cryptography and technologies like TEEs, and that is trusted execution environment, be further leveraged to address complex challenges and promote a more efficient and decentralized blockchain ecosystem on Ethereum? Okay. And then, Harog replies, that is such an interesting talk. A bit of background. Phil Diane, is one of the founders of Flashbots and has been at the forefront of MEV research. He wrote the famous Flashboys 2.0 paper 5 to 6 years ago, which brought the issues of MEV to the discussion table. They built MEV-Geth during the mining days, such that miners could have access to MEV. The basic goal was to democratize access to it in such a way that the centralizing forces of MEV do not centralize the mining pools. Same with MEV Boost, which they wrote and open sourced right before the merge in 2022. Without MEV Boost, solo stakers might not have access to MEV, and the validator would probably have centralized much more. I would see him as a decentralized maxi through and through. He goes through an example of how nation states look at controlling a decentralized network. His first example is the analysis of relays. He then goes on to discuss the current topology of the internet, which is more or less a handful of a few data centers connected to each other via corridors of power. He says that these power dynamics needs to be considered when designing protocols. Just YOLOing into new protocols is not considering this will auto-centralize in a short time. He states 4 pillars of Ethereum which are non-negotiable. If we fail any of these, we will not have built anything of value. Number 1, permissionless. Number 2, distributed. Number 3, geoeconomically decentralized. And number 4, neutral, builder, efficient. He says people far away from the current locations of power need to have a possibility to participate on the same terms as the ones closer to the locations of power. More specifically, a protocol should be designed that co-location gives as little advantage as possible. Flashbots does amazing research in trusted execution environments. There it is, TEE, which is a way to do calculations on your GPU and cryptographically sign that they have been done correctly. He advocates to use these to our advantage in the protocol design. He does not see T's as a silver bullet, but it is a great way to take power away from some corridors of power. He suggests that every builder asks themselves in their development if the chosen approach further centralizes the chain or not. He specifically mentions certain approaches in Web 2 which lead down to a path of centralization. He talks about different trade-offs in the protocol. For example, one block censorship resistance will probably tip the scale towards more centralization of the protocol at another edge. Therefore, considering these trade-offs is important. This means that protocol design must be done with a thorough analysis and good basis on what goals we actually want to achieve. User Oyuro Kimono replies, I love Phil Diane, like a prophet from the Old Testament of the Bible, preaching hard truths to the Israelites. Although he just doesn't talk. He doesn't just talk. He gets stuff built, as Harog documented in their post. The only thing in this speech that kind of struck a nerve with me was at the 18-minute mark, where he takes a swing at the EF and immediately says he feels bad about doing so for too much napkin research, too much tech-oriented research without first gaining alignment on more fundamental goals of the network. He has way more contact with the EF than any of us do, so of course, but I think I see lots of work on alignment by the EF. Every time I see something new published by Barnaby Monot or anybody else from the Robust Incentives group, I get excited. I know they're going to deeply explore the question of what do we value about this network and how should that be reflected in the protocol design. Very nice job, guys, and whoever you are. Well done. We got 2 left for this week. User Skew is skeptical of claims that ETH is underperforming. Skew is a Deuter number 9. They've been around for quite a while, I think, too. As Ethereum nears $500 billion market cap. Gosh, that is crazy. Shit, man. I $500 billion, probably not today, but man, where we were and where we are, it's like time is on your side. It just seems like, that's nuts. Okay, enough wax poetic. As Ethereum nears $500 billion market cap, there's a lot of talk about whether Ethereum will win or not. So many talking about Ethereum, quote, underperforming, when in reality, it's not underperforming at all. It's literally number 2 behind Bitcoin. And no Alt1, L1 is even close in third. When people talk about underperformance, it's normally on some cherry pick selective time frame, like over the past week or year to date. But all of those time frames are just noise. It really amazes me how many smart people get sucked into this strange narrative. For example, compared to Solana, I'm not picking on Solana especially, it's just an illustrative alt one. Here's a bullet that, for example, Solana can go from a 43 billion market cap to a 104 billion market cap in 2024. That is apparently some kind of outperformance, and they're doing something better than Ethereum. Bullet 2, but when Ethereum goes from 274 billion market cap to a 487 billion market cap in 2024, that's an underperformance and we are losing. The basis for this take on performance is that the Solana gain is 141%, and Ethereum is up only 77% on the year. And that is entirely true if your goal was to make more money as an investor in that precise time frame. But the amount of money one can make investing in a given cherry-picked time frame has absolutely no relation to the overall success of an ecosystem like Ethereum. Do you know how hard it is to add $213 billion to a market cap? A lot harder than adding $61 billion, that is for sure. When thinking about the overall success of the ecosystem, it's probably slightly better, though certainly still far from perfect, to think of the total value added rather than the percentage gain in a time frame. Gosh, this is well said. Ethereum had to work so hard and gain so much legitimacy to get to this almost $500 billion market cap. The higher you go, the more legitimacy you need and the more scrutiny you face. None of these alt L1s are playing in the same league. It's a bit like saying that because a soccer team in a small local league scores more goals, they must be better than the EPL champions who scored less. It's obviously easier to make larger returns starting from a smaller market cap, but as an investor, you're also taking on more risk investing in an unproven and more speculative asset. And yes, if you want to make more money, you probably do need to take more risks. If I create a small tech startup and our valuation increases by 500% in the first year, that doesn't mean we're about to overthrow Microsoft since their stock only gained 20%. It's certain my investors will be very happy the risk paid off, but they are under no illusion that I'm about to put Microsoft out of business. This constant confusion between financial gain for an investor over a given period and the overall success of the ecosystem is really something to behold. They are not the same thing. Be smarter. Don't fall into this thinking trap. Gosh, what a banger skew. Good job. Well written. And finally, for this week, El Elote. What is? Can somebody translate this? El Elote. Elote, I think, is like a Mexican street corn thing. I'm not sure. Clarify. I love these usernames. Brings a smile. Duder number 1. Whoa. We got a duder number 1 on the weekly, y'all. Great job. El Elote clarifies that Tornado Cash is still technically sanctioned for a few more weeks. Public service announcement, Tornado Cash has yet to be removed from the U.S. Office of Foreign Asset Control, OFAC, sanctions list. The government has until January 21st, 2025 to appeal to the Supreme Court or seek a rehearing. If no appeal occurs, OFAC must remove the Tornado Cash immutable smart contracts from the sanctions list. It is possible that mutable Tornado Cash contracts will be removed as well. These are the optional contracts that enable relayers to pay user gas fees and offer additional privacy to users. And that wraps up this week's Doots. Oh my gosh, December 20th, 2024. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, Hanukkah, or whatever you celebrate. Kwanzaa. there's a million of them I could name off. But anyway, happy holidays to everybody. I hope you guys have a good Christmas. I do plan on having a December 27th show. That would be episode 92, but who's counting? So I'll let you know if something changes. And then really after that, just a few more days, and Ethfinance is going to go not dark, but it's at least going to be locked in some way, and everybody's going to be moved over to our Ethereum. So tell your kids, tell your wife, we're moving. All right, pack up. We're going west. Hope you guys will join us on our Ethereum. It's already cooking today. I think we're going to be close to 100 comments, which would be a record. So get your ship posts in, and we will see you there. All right, thanks for subbing and smashing the bells around here. Stick around after the live stream because we continue the party in the hotel lobby on Discord for a bonus hour of popcorn. It's a fun place to let loose when the parents aren't watching on YouTube. Hi, Mom. On behalf of Ethfinance, EVMavericks, and our Ethereum, my name is JT. Cheers, big hugs from Kansas City.